I feel like I can't take this hat off because if I take the hat off, it'll like.
You gonna lose your mojo?
Yeah, I'm gonna lose my mojo. But it's low key kind of hot. My ears on fire. I can't even fake.
You are in the conference room.
If you guys are just tuning into the podcast for the first time or whatever, make sure you go and check out our YouTube channel. You'll see this awesome hat that I have.
We got Eskimo hat on, feeling like Future. Eskimo.
I think I'm Canadian.
56 nights.
Couple things, bro. I want to thank you.
Thank me?
Yeah, thank you because when you got the Muslims of the World book, you were sharing stories and stuff with me, and I became interested. And I think I was gonna get one anyways, but like reading through the stories made me more interested, and I got my book in last week. And I went on the Instagram and I did like this whole elaborate story of me opening it up and like revealing what it was. And
elaborate, me over the top.
I think that's what elaborate means, bro. Get a thesaurus, bro. so yeah, extravagant. Oh man, this thing really is hot. But I got it. I haven't read it yet. I haven't started reading it, but I'm excited to start reading it because I got like 3 other books at the same time. So, what do you think about the book so far?
I mean, I like it. It's easy to read, and like I'm telling you, I try to do like one story a day, and I like it because it's like it's colorful. You know, you really don't see a lot of books that have a lot of color in there, right? And then I like the different stories that have people from the U.S., people outside of the U.S. But the best thing that I like is that I can relate to a lot of the stories, and they're short. You know? Sometimes you read a book and you read a story and you kind of like fantasize about like, man, I wish like my life was like that. But from that book, it's like, dang. Yeah, I have actually gone through something like that, or I know somebody else that's gone through that similar struggle, you know?
Yeah, you can empathize and sympathize, right?
Very and relate.
Trying to fantasize about it.
That's very true.
Trust me, bro. My mom actually told me I need to get better at vocab.
Really?
Yeah, so she gave me a thesaurus and I actually use a thesaurus. Every now and then I'll just go through it and like think of words that I use a lot.
It's not easy to broaden your vocabulary, to be honest.
I think of words that I use frequently. See, there you go. And I'll just try and like substitute.
How much cars you got? A lot.
So I try and use these different words in different scenarios in different places, especially when I do emails, you know, for work and stuff like that. So it's actually becoming a big help. So I definitely recommend that to anybody that wants to up their vocab. Yeah. So I just want to start with that, bro. Because, you know.
You're welcome, bro. Thank you for that acknowledgement.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
But should we kick this joint off?
Yes, let's do that, my friend.
Let's get it.
Let's do it. Hold on, just give me like 2 seconds. I gotta pull this up real quick.
You're good. You're good.
You got anything you want to say to the audience? Is there anything we need to say to them before we start?
I miss them. You know what I mean to say? I miss them because I like when I put on the headphones today and I just was like, man, I wish this was something that we can do every day. I know we're getting busy now with just work and just going to events and meeting with other people, but just putting these headphones on and just getting behind the mic, it's like, it feels good.
Say it to the camera, bro.
It feels good and it feels like we should always been here, you know? And that really doesn't happen without an audience because we just be talking but nobody be listening, right? Yeah. So I think we appreciate you guys. And we see the love on the Instagram too. So you guys are hitting us up. We're doing lives and people just tuning in and hitting us up like, yo, we love.
So let's save the lives. Let's we'll get into that right after.
All that good stuff.
We'll get into the lives right after this short commercial.
All that gooey.
You're so stupid. All right, what's going on, everybody? No, oh my God, that's my YouTube channel.
I was like, oh, I was thinking like we never started off that way, to be honest.
Oh man, bro, how do we start these again?
What's going on, everybody? This is Jabril Salam.
Yeah, bro, I was starting like my old YouTube because I'm starting doing the videos again.
You said the right words,
but I had the wrong enthusiasm.
Exactly.
I need to be on level 7. That was like level 15. All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Jabril Salam.
Muhammad Hassan.
And you are listening to the Young and Muslim Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
There
you go. You got it back, man.
Oh yeah, you know I'm in the mood today, bro.
I see that.
I'm in the mood today, bro. I am in the mood, which is really funny because when we were like planning and like sitting down doing this, he looked at me. He was like, "Bro, like, what happened to you?"
Dawn of the dead over here.
Like, nah. Today hasn't been the greatest of days, but you know what I got? My best friend.
Coffee.
Yes.
Caffeine.
Everybody's like, Mo? I'm like, nah. Coffee.
Mo comes after him.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, coffee is first in my life. after Allah. Allah is like default,
Right.
and then it's coffee.
I also want to kind of thank you because right before we started, I was just so anxious to get started, and then Jabril was like, "Yeah, let's just go ahead and pray." So I do appreciate that. You worried about my well-being. Somebody told me something today that was very special. Probably kind of hide the identity, but they were just talking about different du'as and hadiths, and they were like, when you make dua, you want to make sure you have the right people around you, just in regards to your companions. So you tell me to pray, and it's like, you really got to care for people so much that you would want to tell Allah, just make a dua, like, not only do you want to meet those people in Jannah, but you hope those people get into Jannah before you. I was like, whoa, hold on. Yeah, I was thinking about it, I was like...
That is deep.
I was sitting there, I was honest, I was like, that was very interesting and enlightening, because I've never ever thought about that. Like, I asked Allah to forgive all my friends, but to be honest, I've never been like, yo, I hope my homies there before me. Like, yeah, definitely I want to see my homies, but never before me. So that's
I've actually never, I don't think I've ever made that exact prayer, like, I want them, like, I make dua that, like, my relatives get into Jannah, like you said, but never, like, before me. And I don't think it's out of selfishness. I think it's just like a out of ignorance sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I just didn't think of that.
On the day of judgment, nobody's going to be thinking about anybody, So might as well make that prayer now. That way Allah can make you remember. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be like, bro, who? Bro, somebody that I used to know.
That's, I want to talk to somebody else about somebody that's a lot more knowledgeable on, like, Day of Judgment and, like, what it's going to be like. Nobody really knows what it's going to be like for us. Like, people can describe no, like the day. I'm not saying I don't care about that, but that's not what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is, what are we going to be like? Like, where are our heads going to be about? Because are we going to be thinking like, man, like, I had a good life, and like, we're going to be thinking like reminiscing, or like, what are we going to be thinking about? Are we only going to be thinking about once we get in the Jannah? And then once we get there, it's like, hey, where my homies at? Where they at? Woody woo!
That's when you gotta do the shout out. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my man.
The Young and Muslim podcast is still gonna be rocking. We'll be like episode 578, the Jannah style. Inshallah. But no, you're exactly right, man. It's important to keep those people around you who are going to, even when you don't feel like you're in the mood, especially with prayer, dude. Prayer has been one of those things where it's so easy to just feel like, I'm gonna do that a little bit later. And in certain times, like, it's like, you just can't get to prayer right now, right? If you're at work and you're doing something, you can't just like, boss man. Actually, no, you can. Actually, I did that today.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's right. Our boss is cool. But like, if you're in something, right?
Yeah, but if you're traveling, if you're going somewhere, you're on the move. Like today, I went to a lunch meeting. Was able to pray Dhuhr, but I came back and I prayed it. Yeah. But right now, what was I really doing? I was like, hey, let's just pray later. I was just being lazy. I wasn't doing anything.
Exactly. I won't go let you fall down, be a hypocrite, bro. I got you.
My man.
What else do we got going on, Mo? Like, I feel like, look. Oh, matter of fact, the biggest thing we got going on is that we got a whole month right now dedicated to who other than the Black history out here. Shout out to my man. We're gonna do the first shout out tonight to somebody that actually matters. Very important person in American history. He's not Muslim, but he is very important. African American by the name of Carter G. Woodson. Now, if you don't know who that is, Carter G. Woodson is the man responsible, the father of Black History Month. Now, first question on the docket.
Yes.
What does this month mean to you, Muhammad? You as an Egyptian American, somebody who has been here his entire life.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. When we first met, you didn't really consider yourself Black. You consider yourself Egyptian, but you didn't consider yourself Black. You thought there was a very significant difference between yourself and myself.
I did.
Now that you've kind of grown out of that ignorance, that's what I'm going to call that, ignorance.
Okay.
How do you view yourself as an African American in this country, and how do you view the history of our people? This is our people. Don't forget that. It's our people in this country. How do you view that history now that you have a greater understanding of your role in this country?
Well, when I was learning more about the history, my mindset, just my thought of it, evolved. At first, even when I heard about Black History Month, I was like, man, why is it only a month? You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, this is kind of weird. But then when I learned about it, I was like, Black history is not only U.S. history, but because of all the African Americans and what they did, especially in Islam in America, has made it easier for people like me, coming from another country, to practice my religion. And learning about different individuals that came up, such as like Malcolm X. I read his autobiography, and he's like, he's on point, you know? And I was actually able to relate to those people more than other individuals from the Arab world, from the Middle East, from Africa, because the U.S. is my culture. Just like you said, like I grew up watching like rap music and different things, you know, I played sports, I did everything that, you know, a kid does here in America. And I was hanging around, everybody that was hanging around when I was young was black, you know? So I was like, man, I can relate to these people a lot more than the other people that I'm claiming. Like, I'm over there, be like, yeah, I'm Egyptian, but I'm not black. But when I go to Egypt, they call me black. You know what I'm saying? So I really thought about that. I was like, wow, like, what makes it right for me to come over here and say that I'm not black, but I go somewhere else and people call me black? So that really did help me, because I self-reflected and was like, I'm turning away from my own people. You know what I mean? So I came here, I was like, okay, now that I got that out the way, let me learn. Like, let me learn more about the history and what African Americans have done here in the U.S. to make it safe for us to practice Islam. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest thing. At first, I didn't think Black history was important. Black History Month was important at all, you know?
Yeah.
But now I think it's very important, because it almost reminds me of Ramadan in a way, because like, whatever you learn in that month, whether it's about a new individual or different inventions that you know, some historic figures came out with, that kind of like lingers in my mind throughout the whole year, right? Because I learned right now I'm learning about one person a day. That's 30 new people that I'm gonna learn about, right? Yeah. Those 30 new people, that knowledge is gonna stick with me until what? Till the next February.
Well, you know, what I think is important is that it isn't that you're just learning about 30 new people. It's also that, you know, out of those people, maybe only one of them you remember throughout the year, but at least one of those people are going to resonate with you in a way, and it's going to change your perspective of who you are and what you're capable of. Because what we have to remember is that these are all regular people.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
None of these people are, you know, as smart or, you know, smarter than we are. You know, Steve Jobs said something. He was like, you know, if you realize in the world that everything created in the world was created by people that were no smarter than you, you'll view the world completely different. You know, and so I think that's reflective of self-image, how we view ourselves, how we view our ancestors and our people, is that the same metal that they're built up of, that same grit they got, is inside of us as well. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely put them on a pedestal, but we can't glorify them in a way where it's like what they've done is unachievable. Like, it's obtainable. We just have to live up to what they've done.
I think one thing that you said added that I did not mention in my previous conversation was that the whole thing about self-image. I'm proud to call myself black. Now, when I first came, I was like, nah, I'm not black. You know what I mean? I'm just Egyptian. And because
I'm not gonna lie, you said that to me, and I was like my mind was blown. I'm not gonna lie, we were like 18, 19.
I
like,
18, 19, it was.
Yeah, we were young.
Yeah, and then I wasn't proud of calling myself black, because I just saw what black people have been through in this country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just calling yourself black, you would get that automatic weight thrown on you. You know, so I thought just calling myself Egyptian, I'll be able to kind of like not.
No, you were better than us.
Not only that, but I thought I wasn't gonna be put into that category. You know, I get a job application, I do whatever. Oh yeah, I'm not black. I'm Egyptian, because I know that people just don't like black people here, and that's the truth. You know, but then that made me realize, like, nah, Mo, like, you're taking this all wrong. So now that I'm proud, wherever I go, I let people know that, yeah, I'm Egyptian and I'm black. You know what I'm saying? So that makes me a lot stronger now than what I was originally, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I think for me, what this month means is it teaches me a little bit more about my history. And before it was like, yes, black people, we get to celebrate our accomplishments, but now I know that we've invented a lot of modern uses. Like, I just found out yesterday that I can't remember the guy's name, but it was like early 1900s. He invented the lawnmower.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right, like that was mind blowing to me. Like, I had no clue. Right, one of the black scientists working for the Army invented sonar and like radio waves that we use for like video game Wi-Fi.
Yes, yeah.
Which I guess you can argue it was started by Nikola Tesla. Which is very interesting if you haven't read up on Nikola Tesla. But the person who like kind of made Wi-Fi was a black man. Person that like helped jumpstart the internet, black man, video games, the one that created like what we have as a
cell
person.
phones too.
Yeah, cell phones, like all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? But we don't think about that, right? So that's like, I was like, yeah, that's really cool. But recently, I'll say this over the last year, so not last Black History Month, but this one is kind of where it's cementing. But over the last year, from the last one to this one, I'm starting to learn about more figureheads who aren't mentioned in history, right? Such as, like, I'm a very big fan of like Western expansion. I'm a very big fan of like cowboys and Indians sort of movies, right? And I'm starting to learn about heroes within the Revolution, early U.S. history, and like into like that Western time span, right? So like early 1900s, late 1800s. And I recently learned that if you guys are fans of like movies and stuff like that, the Lone Ranger, always historically this white guy that wears a black mask, and he has an Indian sidekick. The real version of him is a black guy. His name is Bass Reeves.
So the guy who's doing blackface?
No. I'm not even gonna put that on anybody. No, he wasn't doing blackface. It was worse than blackface. That's worse. You ask me?
What was he doing? Can you repeat that again?
No, so they took this story of a real person.
Yeah.
The Lone Ranger. This was the guy's nickname amongst Native Americans.
It was an African American.
It was an African American who was an ex-slave. He beat up his slave master, ran away, lived with Native Americans. I think it was the Cherokee Indians or Cherokee Native Americans. Yeah. And then he became a sheriff. And they say he killed like over 3,000 people or something like that. Like, I don't know. It was some crazy number. I had the article on my phone actually. But not to go into detail. If you want detail, you can hit me up on Instagram. We can talk about it. I'm actually going to be sharing those stories on my Facebook. So I'll be like screenshotting them and I'll share it on my Instagram as well for the month. But it's just astonishing to me because those stories are all whitewashed. Yeah. So instead of being a black character, it was a white character who wore like a black mask, kind of like Zorro.
Yeah, so yeah.
But everybody always knows the Lone Ranger as a white guy with an Indian sidekick. Why? Because they took the story of this guy who they called the Lone Ranger, and they're like, you know what? No, we can't sell that. Yeah. Right. So I think I think what I've been learning about my history is that we have to take ownership of these heroes, these forgotten heroes, these lost heroes, these people who have done extraordinary things and made us look at ourselves differently. And when I say that, I mean this. I look at figureheads like Bass Reeves, Britt Johnson, the Buffalo Soldiers, the 4th Regiment, Civil War. I look at those people and I say, those are stories that we need to know. Because we always, black people in America have always grown up with the narrative that we have very selected roles in America, right? Think about it. We've been slaves. We're prisoners. We're workers. We get killed. We play basketball, play football. Athletes. Right? We're athletes. We're athletes. We're very segmented, right? We're pigeonholed. And so when you learn these stories that typically wouldn't be about black people, you're like, whoa, we did.
Exactly.
What?
We actually had people that came up with inventions.
Yeah.
Scientists.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we had, like when you think of explorers pre-Christopher Columbus, Mansa Musa's brother, I forget his name. It's Mansa something. Again, I'm going to try to like share all this information that I have.
Please do, yeah.
Matter of fact, can you look it up real quick? What's his name?
I got you.
Mansa Musa's brother.
Continue.
So his brother actually made a journey over to the Americas long before Christopher Columbus.
It was Suleiman Keita.
What?
Suleiman?
Yeah, maybe. The traveler. Actually, I have it. Funny enough, I have it. I think I have it on my phone. My point is, we don't learn about these figureheads. Like that is American history, right? And nobody mentions that.
It was Mansa Abu Bakr.
Yeah, there we go. The second. There we go. So like figureheads like him, we never learned about him.
I never knew that.
Exactly. But guess what? He's a Muslim. He's a Muslim. And he's an explorer. So like when we think about black people on ships, we always think about slaves, but we never think about the navigators.
And it's the same story over and over and
over. So to make a long story longer, that's the way that I've been thinking about Black History Month. That it's not just about the same old. I'm learning.
You want to uncover those stories that were either hidden on purpose or just not even.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows about it.
Exactly.
Either they were just like you said, either whitewashed or nobody even wanted it to be even present. To be honest.
Exactly. So when we come into this month, I think it's important that people who are familiar with Black history and those who aren't familiar with Black history try to look deeper. They try and find the interesting stories, not just the stuff that's on the board. They try and look into stuff that interests you, right? Like if you're big into video games, like look and see how like Black history is integrated into the history of the things that you're interested in. Like I like cowboys, you know what I'm saying? Like that's an interest of mine. I love history. So learning about Black history that, you didn't know before is like extremely interesting to me. So
let me ask you about that. Like I love business, and I saw a thing on Facebook, somebody posted and talking about Black Wall Street. Just everything that they had.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
How many schools were there? They had schools, they had banks, they had hospitals.
Yeah.
I was like,
they did the same thing in Missouri after.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, those numbers, like, I don't think they're fabricated, but with other people, they downsize it. You know what I mean?
They were bombed.
They were bombed.
It was a massacre.
Yeah.
That is, from my understanding, the largest massacre in U.S. history.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like where they just went in and were bombing people, killing people.
That's genocide, bro.
Yeah, it's genocide, basically, because they saw them having they had their own banks, on school systems.
They knew about the future.
Yeah,
they knew
exactly.
what was gonna happen.
There was also a civilization. There was also, after Reconstruction or during Reconstruction, a lot of Blacks moved to, or African Americans moved to a city in Missouri. I can't remember the exact city name. Okay. It's a westward expansion book, where they settled there, and the whites within Missouri were trying to get them to stop going there because they were starting to make the economy good for Black people, putting up businesses and banks and stuff. So they were like, we're all full. Like, there's no point coming here anymore. And eventually, like, the economy did die down.
You trying to block off a whole state?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Well, it was a very specific town, and where it was at, it was like near the Missouri River. You know what I'm saying, or the Mississippi River. So, just stuff like that you don't learn every day. And I found that in a book that was published back in 1989. You know what I'm saying? You remember when we went to the book, the when you were living in Reston, we went to the library and they were selling books for like $1.
Oh yeah,
that book that I got, bro, I got that joint 4 years ago. I just finished it.
Dang.
But that's why I learned a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, about Black history. Because granted, dude kept it at the back of the book. But now,
moving.
So why is Black history U.S. history? What do you think?
Why is it?
Yeah, why would you consider Black history U.S. history? And
if you just take out the Black portion, it's happening in the U.S. It's U.S. history. It's that simple.
Okay, cool. We have it on the docket, so I figured I'd ask it.
No, it's okay.
One story like that. Goddamn.
One story that I was looking at yesterday was about the story of War the Dean Muhammad. No matter what anybody else says, like, he led the largest congregation of Muslims, over 20,000 individuals.
You know what I heard? No, you know what I heard?
What is like 600 massages?
You know what I heard?
What?
I was reading an article yesterday that said that the range was like for either 500,000 to almost 2 million Muslims.
Are you
because
serious?
they call it the silent majority. Yeah. Because you gotta think about the people. You have to think about the people that weren't in the nation that also converted.
Yes, because the 20,000 I mentioned was just in the nation. So you're right.
Yeah.
It could be a lot.
I think it was way more than that.
Yeah.
Way more, because it was way more than 20,000 Muslims in the nation.
Yeah.
Because he took a big chunk from the nation. To the point where they were like, the nation is no more. It's going to all go to this, and then there are people that left with Farrakhan. If you want a history lesson on that, look it up online, do your research. But yeah, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, it's okay. Just think about all of the massages they built, the school they built. Those are the same massages that us as foreigners come and pray on. You know what I mean? So it is U.S. history. So if you kind of play that down, that means you yourself don't know about U.S. history, right? You know about the real history. You just learn about what was in the school books, which was more than likely whitewashed. You know what I mean? So, but that's hard though, because you come with different. Like when I get from Egypt, my goal was to be the best in school, because school is big, right? Education is huge, and I'm sure it's huge here in other countries too. So when you come here, you learn to read the books, right? You learn English, and those books have straight white people in them, and you have teachers that are white, students that are white, and
so they have no care. It doesn't matter to them.
It doesn't matter to them, because the first thing comes to mind, like, this land is run by white people and has always been. But that's not true. You know what I'm saying? The Europeans weren't always here, but we're not taught that, right? We're just taught that the first people that came here was Christopher Columbus and the Native Americans were here. That's it. Yeah. That's the only U.S. history they teach us. They don't teach us that there were Muslims here in the 1400s that came from the transatlantic slave trade.
No, even before that, Brother Amir of the American Islamic Heritage Museum said that there were Muslims that had Muslim graves that were found way up on the west coast long before Christopher Columbus landed on the east coast and shores.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why we bring up Mansa Musa's brother with
Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakr.
Bakr.
You know what I'm saying? That's why figures like him are important because now you're like, hold up.
Yeah.
What are we missing?
That's what
I want something now. You feel me? So we don't want to stay here too long. I'm joking with you. It's Black History Month, baby. We're gonna stay here all month long. But you know, I feel like to go over the rest of the stuff is kind of redundant. You know what I'm saying? Like or about influential figures, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Black history in Islam. Nothing like too in depth.
But just stop you there. It's like because us Muslims, we're not learning that at school, so we need a place to learn that. I think the mosque would be a great place.
I don't I don't disagree with you because we talk about this in private. So for the people listening, I'm sorry I keep cutting them off, but I don't disagree with you. But I also think that it's our duty to
who's as
Muslim as people, just as people, to do our own research.
Yeah.
But then to use the resources that are out there, like the museums.
Yeah, there
you know what I'm saying? Brother Amir.
There's the African American Museum in DC. How many people has actually gone there?
Exactly. Right. Yeah. As far as Muslims go, we have a museum that's dedicated to not just Black history, but U.S. Muslim history, like the history of Muslims, not just Black. Because we always say, oh, Black Muslims, U.S. Muslims, same thing, but it's not. There's so much more to our history here as Muslims than just Black people or white people. I mean, you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything isn't so black and white, and I don't mean that in terms of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, I mean, like, we talk about the Turkish Americans, we talk about the Polish Americans, we talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about everybody when it comes to Muslims in America.
You can't forget about the Moors that came from Europe, they came from Spain.
Exactly.
Same thing.
So there's a lot of moving parts in this, and we have to remember the reason why Black history is U.S. history is because it takes more than one cog to turn a clock. You know what I'm saying? And so history goes on because there's multiple pieces of the puzzle, multiple pieces of this mechanism that makes the hands turn, that makes a society work. You know what I'm saying? So for us to take one of those cogs out and then to say like, oh, like it wasn't a part of this, or to act like that cog isn't a pivotal part of what makes this thing work, is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so as Muslims, because it says the Young and Muslim podcast, it's important for us to look at all the cogs and say, what is it that got us here? As you said before, we sit on the shoulders of giants, and these giants are the people who sacrifice a gigantic amount for us to be able to, like you said, pray in the different masjids, pray at work, in order for us to have these certain rights. So that's why Black History Month is vital for us, so that we can learn. And listen, there were white Americans who also partook in that, but it was through the Black struggle. You know what I'm saying? It was for people that were freedom riders, that were going down south to help people vote. African Americans vote, white people, Black people, that were fighting for one another. And those stories show a bigger story, a story of humanity and what we can be, what we should be. And as Muslims, those sort of stories should touch our hearts. Should we end on that?
I think we should.
Yeah, I saw the look in your face.
I think we shall.
All right, so when we talk about Black history as Muslims, we have to recognize that in the Quran it has certain ayats that are very specific on race and religion and so on and so forth.
Various colors, the various individuals.
Yeah, so I mean, you found that, so you go ahead and share that, cuz.
So the first one that I found was Surah Al-Rum, Surah 30, Ayat 22, and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and it says, "And of his signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your languages and your colors." And we have to embrace the difference in one another and not run away. One thing that I see is that when you see somebody that may recite the Quran that might be from America and they just don't have like that, that's just like the Arabic native tongue, you automatically assume that they're not quote unquote like Muslim enough, and you write them off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that happens all the time. This is indeed and that are signs for those of knowledge. So people that actually understand, like, hey, there are people from all over the world that are different colors, that speak different languages, but they're all about one thing. What is that? It's Tawheed, and the believing in the oneness of Allah. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? But we we find all these different things and we let that break us up. You know what I'm saying? We let that break up, and I mean, Allah just, He puts it right in front of us. Very simple. So you want to go into we have a few actually.
Oh, you got a couple. All right, so there's another surah from Surah Fatir, which is Surah 35, ayat 27. Says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Do you not see that Allah sends down rain from the sky, and will produce thereby fruits of varying colors? And in the mountains are tracts, white and red, of varying shades, and some extremely black. Surely Allah speaks the truth. You explain that to me, bro. Because you found that one.
There's another one that's right after, but okay.
Oh, you want me to keep going? Okay, so
Yeah.
sorry. I'll read on. It says, and among people and moving creatures. Why'd you just put these together? Anyways, and among people and moving creatures and grazing livestock are various colors similarly. Only those fear Allah from among His servants who have knowledge. Indeed, Allah is exalted in might and forgiving.
That's it. Save the hadith for later. Alright. So let's break it down. I didn't really understand the first part, but do you not see that Allah sends down rain from the sky? I mean, talking about, do you see that? We understand that. And then it says white and red of varying shades and some extremely black. And what I think is just crazy how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points out the part that's extremely black. Like when you see somebody extremely black, people just automatically just get scared. You know what I'm saying? Like they get scared for no apparent reason. They think that this guy's a killer or just whatever. Like even for the people that I know that are from my country, we're from
y'all racist.
We're as black as it comes. You know what I mean? We have some people that are just dark, like almost even purple. You know what I'm saying? And they come over here and they see somebody that's also extremely black, but they get scared. You know what I mean? Not knowing that people are also scared of them just because of their skin tone. But the biggest thing that I see, it says just various colors similarly. So it's only those that fear Allah that understand that race has nothing to do with how somebody kind of serves the people. The taqwa, like humanity, like you said, that's the biggest thing. It's all about inside, right? Our heart. That's really the biggest thing, man. Our heart is all red. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna read that second part because I found it, like I have the Quran app. I feel like the way it was worded was a little bit weird.
It was actually hard to break down.
So the second part, ayat 28 says, likewise there are some species of human beings, breasts and cattle of colors varying from one another. Meaning there's different shades of humans. Only those of His servants who are endowed with right knowledge and who can visualize the unity of the Creator by pondering over the diversity of the creation hold Allah and reverential awe. Basically, you hold Allah and the most amazing of all. Yep. Mighty is Allah, the great protector. So when you read that, it's like, when you look at how the creation is, how everything is so different, and how there's so many different kinds of everything, you have to be left in awe of Allah, that Allah is so great that, wow, you created all of this so different, so unique. Like every individual is unique. SubhanAllah. Every single individual. Every fish is unique. Every scale is different. Every leaf that falls from the tree that Allah commands is different. Every snowflake, that used to blow my mind, bro. Every snowflake is different. I'm like, what? You know how many snowflakes there are?
Raindrops.
Like every single one is different. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that not only is everything different, but everything comes from a oneness. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's
the biggest thing.
That's what blows. Allah created us from one soul.
Yes.
And that everything is still connected and related is amazing. So when we talk about Black history, when we talk about why Black history is considered U.S. history, world history, is because even though it's different, it still comes from a oneness. That we all are part of the same ummah. We're part of the same genesis. And
that right there should legit trump anything else.
It should dissipate racism in your hearts.
Absolutely.
Man.
I like those.
Yo,
very good.
I know there's some people with their hands on their head right now, like, oh my God.
Let me pull over.
Let me pull over and then. So the hadith that I found that kind of, supports what we're talking about when it comes to race within religion, Islam condemns racism as it goes against our very foundations, right? What we practice and what we believe speaks out against racism. And even in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ on his final sermon said, and sometimes like translations also, I just want that to be forewarning to anybody. So like if I read this and you're like, oh, it's not that exactly, then that's why the translation is a little bit off.
Forgive him.
Possibly. There is no superiority over an Arab over a non-Arab, nor a non-Arab over an Arab. Neither is white superior over black, nor is black superior over white, except by piety. So we're only judged by what is inside.
That's it.
Not by what's on the outside. Martin Luther King, we should be judged by the contents of our character, not by the color of our skin. Same thing.
Yes.
My man Martin Luther King read the Quran. He has some hadith. There, you know what I'm saying? But Christians, for nothing, believe the same thing.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
You know? So it's very, very funny when you start to get deeper into Islam, you start learning more about the deen and just the way that we're supposed to think of one another, regard one another.
Because it's not even talking about race. He's also talking about just geographically where we're located.
Yeah.
Because that plays a big part.
Yeah.
Same thing when it comes to what people think about us here in the West. People like
damn, you got a good point.
Every single day, people just bash us. You know what I mean? Like they don't know anything. They're over there. They're not even practicing real Islam. It's more culture, and I just hear stuff that just go on and on and on. You know, so it doesn't matter if we're white, black, or they're putting us in a territory, in a category, just because we're here in the Western Hemisphere. You know what I mean? And I was reading something. It was about the Prophet ﷺ. It was about his book. It was written by a Albanian, a Muslim who came to America, and he was like, the U.S. and Canada, the future for the Western Hemisphere is over there, because those will be the individuals that will find the true essence of Islam. You know what I mean? They won't find any culture. They will study Islam for what it is. And that right there is was gonna just upbring and just uprise the Muslims. I mean, think about it. We have Muslims in Congress now, Muslim women. You know, we have Muslim athletes. We have Muslim scientists. I mean, the list goes on and on. But that would have never happened if it wasn't for the sacrifices that the other individuals made that you mentioned.
Look at you learning this on this Black History Month, bro. Dog,
I try.
My man, I feel you. And that's why, as I said before, it's important for us to take ownership of our history here, to not look at it as otherworldly or like look at it as like, oh my God, that used to happen. It's like, no, that is us. We are that, and that is us. You know what I'm saying? In all aspects, and not just for white people or black people looking at Black history, but even for other people, other ethnicities, and other races looking at that history, because that is us. That is human.
Yes.
That's what we are capable of. That is in us. Specifically to us, Black people. It's important for us to look at that, and as I said before, look at our self-image. Be proud of where we come from. Don't get angry because of slavery. Be proud that we made it out. You gotta think about this.
That's a good point.
Think about the odds. Just mathematical. I want to talk with Brother Amir about this. The odds of making it through the transatlantic slave trade, keeping your religion, surviving, still having kids being sold off, mutilated, hung, still having generations proceed, going through all the crap we've been through in the last 100 years after Reconstruction, and then me still making it here.
That's what I'm saying.
That's subhanAllah.
And still keeping the faith after all that.
And the religion still being able to find me.
That's
like. So for you it's a little bit different because you come from Egypt, but for me and for my family, for my lineage, it's mind blowing. And like when you really sit and think about it, there's no way there isn't a God.
Right.
There's no way there isn't. Nothing happens by coincidence. You feel me? So when you sit there and you really, really revel or marvel in that, you marvel in the fact that wow, the odds. You know they're talking about the odds of being a human being. It's like 1 to 400 trillion, something like that, right? You know. I actually I had a podcast. Shout out to my man Mike
Shout out
Thorpe.
Mike,
We
yeah,
had we had a
I did
podcast
that.
together, 1 in 400 trillion, where we talked about amazing individuals, because it's like the odds of you being here right now in front of us is 1 in 400 trillion. So we're looking for those 1 in 400 trillion people. The odds of me being here right now is ridiculous. The percentage chances from when my ancestors were picked up to me,
So you're talking about you specifically?
me.
Okay.
All the things that had to not happen
Yeah.
in a time where those things were happening on a regular basis.
And to get out of that, because their goal is to wipe the slate clean.
Well, it's not about wiping the slate clean, it's about control. You gotta think about it. You know why they neuter cats and neuter dogs and stuff like that?
So they control.
And so they can control population.
Yeah.
That's what they did with slaves. That's why they sell people here, sell them there. They were breeding human beings.
Your boy Carter G. Woodson, I was looking up, he had a quote says, when you control somebody's mind, you don't have to worry about their actions.
So that's what I'm saying. So, and controlling their mind doesn't mean go eat here, go eat there.
Yeah.
It's about controlling where they can go.
Exactly.
And then over time, it says, oh, we don't leave the hood.
Yeah.
We don't leave this area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like my dad tells me all the time about where we live now. He said as a kid, he went into our neighborhood once and he got chased out because black people weren't allowed to live where I live
Where
right
you guys
now.
live right now.
Where we live, where we own a house right now.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Fine.
Allah. What's up, Allah?
Bro's about to start shaking.
like I'm telling you, bro. Like it's just mind blowing when you really think about the odds of where I am right now. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So when people like, oh, why Black history? It's like, dude, you guys just don't understand what my ancestors have had to go. We need a Native American History Month.
Yeah.
We definitely do. I 100% believe that. Native Americans have gotten it bad.
Yeah.
They've gotten it bad as well. And we need to learn more about that history, especially as living on this land. I think it's only fair, right?
Yeah.
But until then, it's up to us to do
Gotta
research.
pay our dues.
It's up to us to do our research. And that's another reason why I'm very interested in like the Western expansion and like Native American and African American history, because it's very much one and the same at certain points, right? Granted, slavery was an atrocity, right? And the way Indians were moved around, shipped around geographically is horrible. So, I'm not here to compare or, whatever, who had it worse. That's not what I'm here for. But I do think it's important that we understand our history and how those involved with us are part of that history. My God.
Well,
my Lord, I'm feeling it right now, Mo.
My Lord.
I'm feeling it right now, Mo. Let's get. So when it comes to ownership, this is something that I've been talking about a lot on Instagram. So if you guys follow me on my Instagram, _Brill, BREEL. Follow me, guys. DM me. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. I'm friendly. I've been talking a lot about ownership and how, as content creators, podcasters, musicians, cinematographers, videographers, like as people who create, it's very important for us to have a sense of taking ownership of what is ours. As somebody whose ancestry stems from roots where we were owned, it's important for you to know what the value of owning something is and being able to say, this is mine, I created, and no one else can say that this is theirs or do with it as they will without my consent. Right? It's important that we understand as African Americans, as creators, for the sake of what I'm talking about, that when you create something, you have to control how it's distributed, and how people manifest that, how they take in your content, how are they listening, how are they viewing that, right? If the only place they can view your content is, say Vimeo, and you have no website, you have no way for people to say, oh, this is yours, you're screwed. Because if that platform goes down or haywire,
So are you.
you're gone. Go lost. It's done. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say this to all of my friends, all of our counterparts and associates who are podcasters, or we just say podcast because it's we know a lot of podcasters. Take ownership of what it is that you're creating, and don't let these platforms pimp you. Now, this is something I was thinking about today. When you get on, say, Instagram, and you posting pictures, let's say you're a fitness person, and all your followers get ads against fitness because they follow you and they probably follow 10 other people that do fitness. Those ads, those companies are making money against you without you even knowing, because they run things off an algorithm where, oh, who do you follow? What type of accounts do you follow?
Yep.
How often are you liking them? And then they run ads against you on that.
So you don't even own the content, you don't even own the rights, because they're making money off you and you're not even getting a piece
Exactly,
of it.
right? And on top of that, those ads are making money for Instagram, and they're making money for those people who are owning that material.
Yep.
So you're getting short in the stick because they're making pennies off of you, but yet those pennies add up when they're selling hundreds of thousands of units. You know what I'm saying? So what if you have your own workouts, your own site, your own pictures where you're sending people there, following them in, email list, that whole thing, to have ownership over your stuff. Ownership. We build these audiences up on these platforms only for a platform to
Just
really
to give
benefit
them to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's more difficult than I'm explaining it. Like, it's a very, very difficult process building your own distribution. But I would much rather have half of the distribution on whatever platform, because we're taking ownership of what we create. And as Tyler Perry said in the Instagram video, I just put it on my story. So I saved it, and when this episode drops, I'll make sure I put it on my story again so people can watch it and listen to it. Is that ownership is generational, right? And the issue that we as African Americans have had in this country, see, I brought it back full circle now.
Yeah.
The issue that we've had in this country is that there has been a lack of ownership that has allowed us to progress as an entire community. Sorry, coffee started to whirl. As an entire community. If we don't own anything, or if only a few of us own something, we can't progress.
No.
Right?
How can you support each other too?
Exactly. We can't support each other if we don't own anything.
No.
Jay-Z said it beautifully. He said, "You're dying over a hood that you don't own," or something like that. It was in
Was it on 444?
the story of OJ.
Okay.
The story of OJ. It was on that, right? Where he was talking about you're dying for a hood that you just live in, basically. You have no ownership there, right? Bankhead. But guess what? All the apartments there are owned by, not, this isn't Bankhead specifically, but in a lot of these neighborhoods are owned by somebody that, one, either isn't from there, not of your race, not of your ethnicity. Like, dudes don't care.
Somebody you never met, you probably will never meet.
Exactly. That's owned it, and he probably, or she doesn't even own it. They didn't even start it. Their grandparents bought it. Generational ownership.
Yep.
So when it comes to what we create, this is a platform that many people can benefit from. But if let's say we pass away and the platforms get wiped off, guess what? All this is gone. All this was in vain because we took no ownership over what we created. So I beg all of my creator friends, I beg all of my entrepreneurs to start taking ownership of yourself, of your content, what you create, your businesses. Take ownership, right? And as African Americans, as Black people in this country, take ownership of your history. Take ownership of your self-image. Take ownership of what has been done before you, because that has a self-reflection on you and what you believe about in yourself to be true. So,
bro, you about to join back full circle, bro.
Yeah, bro. Hula hoop it. My God, all right, I'm riled up, but I think it's time we do a few shout outs.
Getting the shout outs, you feeling good? What's good?
What's Gucci?
First person on the list is shout out to our sister Samia, sorry. We thought she was out in the UK. Actually, she's been in Canada.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that was freaking hilarious, dog. I was like, so how is it in the UK? She was like, UK? I'm in Canada. I was like, that's why you ain't got no accent.
She's like, what are you talking about? And she pulled it out real quick.
Yeah. Yo, that was super funny, not gonna lie. If you guys didn't know, we actually do Instagram lives every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Eastern time.
On our obviously on Instagram. We do them so that we can connect with people who otherwise we wouldn't have the opportunity to speak with, and it lets us help those individuals tap into you guys.
Yep.
Like, you guys get to understand who these people that we're friends with, that we're getting to know behind the scenes, and we want you to know more about their platform and what they're doing. It goes back into ownership.
Boom. Hey.
That was awkward silence. So no, like, we talked about a lot, man. We talked about a lot with her, and like, I wish we could save them. When they get super long and like super like
Instagram won't let you save them.
Instagram won't let you save them. But dang, I actually realized how we can save them.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Me too.
Man, ownership.
Well, you can follow her online. She has her own podcast, The Rogue Muslim. She's on all the major platforms when it comes to podcasts. And on Instagram, find her at The Rogue Muslim. She's on, like I said, Instagram and Twitter. She's on Facebook, but not much. Don't know if you find her there. She won't be creeping on
You
there.
can find her, you say she's on SoundCloud and iTunes and all that?
SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts,
Boom.
whatever you need. She's on there.
She has a very dope podcast. I think the way she started is very similar to us. Like, the why behind why she's doing what she's doing is very interesting. I think that she talks on a lot of topics that we overlook. I think the one that we both like been very intrigued with is the fact she talks on mental health.
A lot, yeah.
She talks on that a lot, and she is a brilliant woman.
Yeah,
I'll say that, like, being able to sit down and talk with her, whether it was, over the screen or whatever, was a privilege, because in a time where, people like this depth and this inner knowing of who they are and what matters, she really brings that to the table when it comes to podcasting. She brings a real sense of knowing what is important in life. It's not just about like the current events. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff matters, but it's more so about how each of us individually matter, and our experiences matter, and they're all relevant to someone, somewhere. And I think that's super important. That's super important, man. So shout out to Samia of the Rogue Muslim Podcast.
Thank you.
Oh, for a lot of you guys, if you're still wondering, yes, it's a girl. A lot of people don't know because she doesn't show her face or anything like that.
Yeah.
She believes like, hey, she wants to keep this as neutral as possible so that it's for everybody, which I really dig that.
Yeah, that's not easy.
No, it isn't easy because our especially when our mugs are all over our podcast. Like, people know who we are real quick.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, those are no podcast guys. They're Muslim and black.
Right. Next on the list, we have Sister Ramaz. She's actually from the DMV area. She's a Sudanese American woman that's out there killing it. So we also did a live with her. She's actually been a long time listener of the podcast, so we really do appreciate her, for supporting us from the get-go. And so we went on live with her, and she basically caught us up to speed with what was going on in Sudan with the revolution, because there's a lot of he said, she said, but what's going on? But when you have somebody that's in the interworkings of things and really knows what's going on and actually proactive, kind of help to fight it, those are the type of people you want to get your information from. Those are the good sources. So thank you, Ramaz, for that. This episode will be dropping soon, so I think there is going to be if you want to learn more information, you just want to come out and support in DC. What was it, Jabril? On February 16th?
Yeah,
that
16th,
Saturday.
16th, looking at right
there
now.
will be a gathering to support what's going on. I think it's going to be in front of the Sudanese embassy in DC. We'll have some more details. We'll put it up on our Instagram and our social media just so you guys can come out.
How can you find us on our social media?
Yes, so Twitter, Instagram, Young and Muslim. That's Young, the letter N, Muslim. So we'll have all the information out there. We'll also have a template of what you can do to help out. If you want to help out, you can send a letter to your local congressman or woman, letting them know what's on your mind and how you're not going to put up with what's going on.
No, we are not.
No.
Not at all. All right, who else we got to shout out, Mo? Because these shouts are coming thick and fast, homie.
Right. Shout out to our brother Weiss.
Hey, yo!
He just started his podcast. I know he's had that, that idea for a very long time, but he finally got it going. It's called the No Limit Radio. You can find him on No Limit Radio DMB on their Instagram, and we actually got an interview with Brother Weiss.
Oh yeah, it was a great interview. We talked about
our first one.
Yeah, it was our first time being on someone else's podcast, and we talked about community.
Thank you.
And the importance of community, and why it's so important to us, doing what we do. Very good podcast, very good content. I think he just dropped an episode today. He drops them every Wednesday, I believe. He drops them super like late / early in the morning. Yeah, like so I don't know if that counts as a Wednesday or if it's like Thursday morning.
Whenever you see it.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you see it. But yeah, he's really getting going, and I think he's had a very bright start to his podcasting career.
Yeah, bro.
You know, a month in, but we really enjoy listening to the podcast, and it's just so hard. Let me ask you this: do you find it hard? And this is for you guys as well. Like, answer this to yourselves, or you can like DM us or whatever. Do you find it hard to keep up with all of this content, and how do you decipher what to keep up with and what like you like build up and then you're like, all right, let me go back and listen to this. I need to catch up.
I mean it's tough, to be honest. I don't think there's anybody that I'm like, okay, let me start from like the first episode and go to episode 49. I just can't. There's so many people that we've met, so many people that we know, and we're working, bro. We're putting out our own content, so it's hard. But there are certain individuals who I like as not only content creators but as people, right? So I usually check out everybody's like a latest episode. That's what I usually do, you know? Want to kind of keep up with recent events, and I want to see what they're doing recently to see if we can connect with them. So I always try to check out people's recent episodes, and if I can't finish it, I usually pause it, and maybe 2-3 days later I finish it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I never finish a podcast like back to back, except for ours.
Okay.
Which you guys should definitely try to finish ours at one time. Yeah, you know, I think what's very interesting about podcasting now is that there's so many voices out there. Just like books, a podcast is like a book that you're able to tell, but you have like dope narrators. It's like
audiobook.
It's a dope audiobook where the story, you never know what's going to unfurl. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's going to happen. You just gotta stay along for the ride. It's like letting Morgan Freeman freestyle. And there was once a time when Andy decided that he would convert to Islam.
That'd be good.
Yeah, that would be a good book. Let Morgan Freeman freestyle. Assalamu alaikum out there. So yeah, thank you to all of our podcast and Instagram live peoples, because you guys really have been rocking it. I think a lot of people have been loving the Instagram lives, because now they get to have not only a in-depth look into our brains and how we think and how, you know, we bond with one another, but also how we are friends with people that are outside of this room where it's just you and Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't get to see us often. So, and they get to learn something about somebody else's platform and somebody else's just like sphere of like what's going on in their world. What are they passionate about? What is it that they're working on? Why are they working on it? Like, is it a cultural thing for them? Is it like Sister Soha, right? Where she's a lawyer out in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, you got it.
And, you know, like, why is it that she does what she does, and how is her surroundings different? You know what I'm saying? I thought that was one of our first, matter of fact, it might have been our first Instagram live.
That was a while ago too.
That was a long time ago. But, you know, it's really cool to really think about, you know, how every person we go live with is very different, and their motivation is different based off of their surroundings. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys are tuning into those every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
Instagram lives with us.
So next on the list, this individual is not Muslim, but what she did was an act of a believer. Her name is Candace Payne. She is a real estate broker out in Chicago. So what she did, I'm sure you guys
give a little context.
Yes, I'm sure you guys know. Last week the weather was blistering cold. I mean, I'm talking like
literally
negative 45 degrees in some places, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the Midwest, like it was so bad. I think people were freezing to death.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very tragic when you think about the people that are homeless and that don't have the means to keep warm, man. So,
at all.
Wow.
So what she ended up doing was that she rented over 30 hotel rooms for 70 homeless people. They call it the polar vortex.
That's what it came. So this is more evidence of global warming. Do a little research, but in a nutshell, polar vortex is basically something that is only up in the poles and Antarctica, I believe. And
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah, it's a polar vortex. So basically, it broke apart, and it like the cold has to travel because there's less and less ice up there, and so it traveled down here to America. And they're saying like it's going to get colder and colder.
It was cold out there, bro. Like they were like, Mo, we've never seen it cold like this before. Like, yeah, it's cold, but Egypt was cold. And that's like that came up in my mind, like, yeah, that has to be global warming. You know, places that are usually hot are cold now, you know what I mean? And places that are cold or colder. Maybe even warm. But Thank you, Candace, for everything that you did. May Allah grant you the highest place in Jannah for all these people. I mean, she saved 70 people.
She saved them. She saved them.
You know what I mean?
Let's go to somebody who is now Muslim. Somebody that is newly Muslim.
Yes, mashallah.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Brother name is Joram van Claveren. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If not, please somebody correct me. So he is a Dutch politician. Oh, he's still a Dutch politician, but he was an anti-Muslim Dutch politician.
Oh, that's what I was saying. He was a Dutch anti-Muslim politician.
Yes,
my bad.
But not anymore. His biggest slogan was "Islam is a lie," and what I was telling Jibril is crazy because he had a campaign where he was pushing that narrative really hard, and what he ended up doing was writing a book about Islam, and he used the Quran, to get some more content, more information. And while he was doing that research and just that write-up, he fell in love with the religion, which was crazy. Before he fell in love with the religion, his goal was to take out as many Moroccans as he can out of Netherlands. That was in the past few years, but now, alhamdulillah, he has converted. Allahu Akbar. Takbir from our brother. He is a believer now, alhamdulillah. And now he absolutely loves Islam and knows that it is no longer a lie. So hopefully that brighten up your day.
Absolutely.
Who we get next, Jabril?
Alright, next up we have, I want to shout out somebody very special, Sister Koku Isabulova. Mm-hmm. She is Turkish, I believe. She recently died. May Allah have peace on her soul. 129 years old.
Wow. Mashallah.
And guess how she died? She died while in prayer.
SubhanAllah. The most peaceful way.
Wow. So she was born in 1889. She outlived all of her kids. She has survived all of her kids. She is survived by 5 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. And when asked how she lived so long, she said, "It was God's will. I did nothing to make it happen. I see people going in for sports, eating something special, keeping themselves fit, but I have no idea how I lived until now." You gotta think, 1889.
I can't even think about that.
Bro, I don't even think automobiles were created then.
No, Henry.
No.
Or no.
He wasn't the first to create.
No, he just did the mass production.
Yeah. Anyways, she definitely wasn't around for automobiles. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? World War I hadn't even come about yet. World War I was still almost 30 years away.
Oh my goodness.
Right? The Great Depression for the U.S. wasn't here. You gotta remember, she literally saw people this around a time where there were people who were still enslaved, who were trying to transition, get out of slavery, Reconstruction, the Roaring 20s, where economies were all whoa. She saw the fall of the Ottoman Empire, which is crazy. She saw so much happen.
Dude, I can't even imagine, bro.
And now she got people walking around and they ain't even walking. People on hoverboards. She probably oh my God. It's just wow. Wow. Mashallah. So I just had to shout her out because that was amazing to me. And what a way to go out.
That's what I'm saying.
What a way to go out. Man.
So next, I would want to give a big shout out to the Muslim community out in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So when the government was partially shut down for about 35 days, they ended up going to the St. Paul International Airport out in Minneapolis, and the Muslims in that community helped feed all the TSA workers. They donated about over 400 samosas and 80 boxes of pizza.
Wow.
For the workers.
Wow, mashallah.
Mashallah, man.
There's so many blessings. So many blessings.
Because they were like, man, these people are going without pay. These people are losing their jobs. The least we can do is feed them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the least we can do.
That's wild.
So, hey, mashallah, may Allah increase, it's everything for y'all in this life. And
we can't even think of something. Just increase all of it, God.
Increase everything.
Goodness gracious.
Increase all the goodness coming to your life. All the barakah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. That's wild. That is wild, bro.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy because here in the U.S., oh my God, the government shut down. Oh my God, and people they're repeating the same thing. But who's actually going out?
They're not even helping nobody.
No, they're just repeating the same thing. Oh man.
Same old same.
Same old same.
What I think is interesting about that is we highlight those incidents, and undoubtedly it's very important, but we can't forget that there are people who are actively going around on a regular basis, such
Exactly.
and two of our friends,
Yes.
the Muslims Against Hunger, Brother Zamir.
MashaAllah.
And then we also have our friends for Server Mill. They're up in DC and they're in New York. So inshallah we'll be able to link with both of them and be able to do some things to help put them in the spotlight. we've done plenty of Instagram. Matter of fact, our first Instagram live was actually with was it with Server Mill? No, it was with Nord. It was with Nord of This Muslim Girl.
Yeah,
Server Mill was second. It was Nord of This Muslim Girl podcast.
Got that spot.
Yo, we shout Nord out every single podcast.
Bro, she deserves it.
Her and Samia, Rogue Muslim, like those are our homies right there.
Day ones.
Yeah. But yeah, so like it's important for us to remember that we do have people on a regular basis who are trying to do these things, and they are trying to use their own time, their own resources, and a lot of times they're doing this out of pocket.
Yeah.
So, like we have to support these causes. We have to like this right here is how we're supporting right at this moment. Just shouting them out. But for all of you out there who don't know about them, find them on Instagram, find them on Facebook. Muslims Against Hunger and Serve a Meal. You can find them both on Instagram. Just DM them and be like, hey, like I really love what you guys are doing. Give them some encouragement.
Yep.
Make dua for them. Like just keep helping to push them forward.
I mean, bro. Right. Also want to give a big shout out to our brother Sajjad, who is the co-author of the Muslims of the World. So they're not sure if people know the story. I'm sure some people do. It came out.
It was last time.
Yeah, don't worry about that. So there was a school bus driver. I think it was a Syrian school bus driver that was attacked in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in the Detroit area. So what happened was he was driving his school bus and he had some kids that he was taking over to an after-school program. I think he just brushed up against another car, just grazed the window or just the side view mirror. I think cracked it or broke it, whatever happened. And then when he stopped to drop the kids off, two guys came in and just started beating him up like viciously. It was insane. And the brother was out of commission for about 2-3 weeks, so it could not work. So what Sajjad ended up doing was that Muslims of the World, they used their platforms, like Jabril mentioned, and started a GoFundMe page. Mashallah, they ended up raising over $22,000 for the brother. So the goal was $20,000, but now they're at $22,000, mashallah, to help this brother because he got beat up and he couldn't work, to support him and his family.
That's going to pay for all his medical bills, inshallah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's wild.
Yeah,
and that's what we mean. Like we have to take ownership. Not I keep going back to this, but like this guy is being helped by the Muslim community. We're taking ownership of others within our community. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to see that, man, where somebody in our community gets hurt. We're like, yo, we need to raise money, help them out because they just can't work or they can't do X, Y, and Z.
The Prophet ﷺ, when somebody would pass away, I'm like, okay, who knew this brother? Okay, this brother. Does he have any debt? Yes, he has some debt. Let's get our money together and pay this guy debt off. You know what I'm saying? Same exact way.
Well, hey, I hope when I die, you get everybody to pay off my student loans.
Wait, well, how much this brother got?
Oh,
$250.
Hey, we're gonna have to reach out. We're gonna have to reach out to the Saudis for this one.
We're going to UAE, boy.
Yeah.
We're going to Qatar.
We're gonna have to reach out to everybody for this brother. My Lord.
How much you owe? Oh yeah, we can only make dua for this brother.
Hey, nah, then she's like, yeah, he got a doctor. Oh, we'll make prayer for him.
You're too far gone on that. The interest rate.
I've been led astray.
Bro,
brokey. Oh man. So we talked about a lot of stuff, man. Oh my Lord.
We only wanted to give you, and we haven't even given you guys like an intro of what else we have coming for this month.
Oh my Lord.
I think we should do that
next, coming up on the Young and Muslim podcast. So coming up, guys.
Coming soon.
We don't want to give away too much without like spoiling anything. But we do want to say this, that there are people that we need to consult with in order to learn more about this month, and we want to be able to give you guys as much information on this month. So the next couple podcasts, inshallah, is not just going to be about us talking and getting real theological and philosophical about certain topics. It's really going to be about us taking the time to research and find people who are significant from the past and the present, because you learn from your past, you live in the present, so you can make a better future.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I just came up on the spot. That was fly.
Mm.
It's the hat, bro. It's definitely the hat. My brain is like, my head is steaming right now.
So you swagged out. That's all that matters.
I'm swagged out. That's all that matters right now. I'm high as a mug, but you know.
You're dripping.
I'm dripping sweat. Drip, drip. But no, so you know, it's important for us that we give you guys information that maybe, like Mo said, like every year, you know, you learn something new about different figures, and you learn about X amount of people throughout the month. We want to be able to take some of the people that we found that are very compelling, very interesting, and who we feel can have a positive impact on who you guys are, and maybe you learn something and it helps you in your job, in your work, in your life, or whatever. Yeah. So it's about highlighting people from the past and showing how they influence the people that we're seeing today,
and how the people that are here now is gonna help advance our future.
Yeah, and we're talking about us, as in Mo and I.
Yes.
Because, you know, this podcast is going places.
Inshallah.
The Young and Muslim podcast, and the and is for and we out. All right, it's time to get loose. Get out of here.
So for the past hour and 11 minutes, who knew we were going to go that long? You have been listening to the Young and Muslim podcast. Let them know how they can find us, bro.
You can find us on Instagram, Twitter. I wasn't ready for that.
I know. Threw him a curveball too.
I'm not gonna lie, I had the throw ready. If you guys are watching a YouTube video, that was yeah, you're messed up because you saw me too. You knew. You're horrible, bro. So and I usually do the timestamp. You horrible, Mo. You terrible. You was terrible.
You took over the beginning of the podcast. I had to give you
that's fair. That's fair. So. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. That's Young, the letter N, Muslim. That's Young and Muslim on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on iTunes, Podcast for Apple. You can find us on Stitcher Radio. You can find us on CastBox. Basically anywhere that you're going to listen to podcasts. And then, as always, check us out on YouTube so you can see all the funny, hilarious scenes that we're doing. And these beautiful, beautiful faces, everybody. So, yeah, like, do you want to end it? Do you want to, like, keep this train going if you still in the thunder? No, bro, go ahead. I got it. We'll switch it up.
All right. So for the past hour and 13 minutes.
Is that how I sound?
Yeah, but listen to the Young and Muslim podcast. This is Muhammad Hassan.
And I am Jabril Salam.
We hit you with the greetings of peace.
As-salam.
Wa alaikum.
Goodbye.